In this lesson, we'll review a literary passage from the reading section. There will always be one literature passage, usually the first passage on the test out of 5, and you really want to pay attention before reading the passage to this information. This will give some information about the characters, the setting, the time period, and then read the passage. So before we answer these two, try reading this on your own. If you want to just pause the video, and now I'm going to scroll down, and then you can pause the video again and finish the passage. Alright, so I assume you have read this passage, and now let's take a look at this question. This is what is called a two-part question, and this is a new creation by the College Board, and these are very prevalent questions. In fact, you usually see 2 of these in every passage for 4 questions, 5 passages. There are 20 of these two-part questions out of 52, so it's about 40%, really significant part of the test, where you have this first question. We have to infer what Papa's scared look is caused by, and then we want the evidence. Now, some students might be inclined to work backwards, saying, well, I know it has to come from these line numbers. I'll look at the line number and work backwards. I don't think that's the best approach. I think independently you should try to find the answer, and then you look for confirmation. If you did it correctly, it will confirm what you thought, but sometimes it doesn't fit, and then you know you made a mistake. So we need to reasonably infer or suggest, not expressly stated, but just suggested, why Papa has a scared look. So that's at the beginning of the passage, when he came out of the door with a copy of the newspaper and a scared look on his face. And then hopefully you've read this. He was upset that his daughter's poems were published. But again, even though it's an inference question, we need evidence. There has to be some evidence. This is called the evidence-based reading, why he was scared. You can't just totally infer it from thin air. There has to be some reference to it. And if you look at the line numbers, again, you're not just going to look at the line numbers and work backwards, but this kind of bounds the area where the evidence will be. Now, there's also a big gap between these first 3. So between 10 and 20, if there's some evidence. If not, then you could probably jump ahead. If there's not this much of a gap, then I'd probably just read the whole section. But again, you need to find some evidence. So from 10 to 20, which is basically from here down to here, is there any evidence that we can infer why he's scared? So he's angry here, he's impatient, he's glancing over his shoulder, and this is a good word, a little bit of vocab, seditious. Seditious means sort of insurrection against the government. Again, you might be able to infer this on your own, but you need evidence in the passage. His mother's face shone with pride. Papa looked and now is just realizing there's really no evidence there specifically why he was scared. So let's just jump down and look at 52 to 53. Papa was beside himself. Why was I bent on defying him? Exile would be the least of it. I was going to get us killed. This is the evidence. And again, even though it's an inference question, the fact that he was scared was because he risks it. He felt he'd risked his family's safety and well-being. You're never going to find that, but it's definitely made clear there. And once we know that is the section, this will confirm it. And the answer is D. So these two-part questions, very common. Just make sure you do them in order. Sometimes they won't fit, and then you made a mistake, you'll have to go back.